I'm really happy
Hello?
yeah.
Great everyone.
Hello.
No, sure.
If I'm particularly proud of something during the last 15 years, it is of having created many years ago. Yes, it feels strange because being so much involved and trying to be always a little bit ahead of what's happening, you don't notice how fast the time is passing by. And if I look back, I'm just amazed about how much change has happened in the world in the last 50 years and how we, to a certain extent, always succeeded to be pioneers in addressing the change and showing what the direction actually should be. To have Greta back and all her colleagues because we always developed, in addition to our memberships with business and our good relations with governments, a special connection with the young generation, with the academic generation. So we have a kind of network and a feeling of what could happen. And here I'm proud that this year particularly, we do not have only Greta here, but we have a dozen of other teenagers who have excelled in doing something very special. For example, our young woman from Indonesia who really, at the age of 19, changed the country's policy regarding to plastics. So the young generation should have a voice and will have a voice at the annual meeting 2020. What's happening is, at the beginning you always have a prophet, and maybe you had quite a number of prophets here already in the 70s. It's reassuring that President Trump is coming because it's a global meeting, so we see him involved in global issues. On the other hand, it's very reassuring to have Greta back and all her colleagues because the environment will play a particularly important role during this meeting. Responsibility. We have the big project to creating a platform. I think Europe is at a new beginning, and we have the main voices for the new beginning here, particularly with Mrs. von der Leyen as the head of the European Commission, but also the head of the Council, the head of the Parliament. We have practically every European Prime Minister or President here, and even from the UK, the Chancellor is here. So we will, I would say, this annual meeting is a kind of great opportunity to show that Europe now has overcome a period of 3 years of turbulences, big question marks, and now we have to move forward. On the one hand, UK has to move forward, Europe, the rest of Europe has to move forward, hopefully in a very good relationship each to another. We have a kind of network and a feeling of what could happen. And if I'm particularly proud of something during the last 50 years, it is of having created many years ago the community of young leaders. We have now a community of so-called global shapers, 10,000 young people in over 400 cities in the world, engaged on the ground of running a project which really has beneficial benefits for the local population. So we try, and I think quite successfully, to integrate the bottom-up, the young generation very much. It's a precondition for us also to look ahead.
Making real change rather than just kind of, painting a banner and going out in the street.
On companies. It's actually the government. Look at CO2.
So give to me, please. Yeah.
But please look into my
I don't want to give you a bad conscience.